Hi, Central-Denison. This week I got a letter from Josie. Here's what it said. Dear Mrs. Corna, I have wanted a dog since my sister was born, and now my dream has come true. I am super excited to get him. His name is Louie, and he is a mini golden doodle. He is super cute, especially because he has a white spot on his head. I can't wait to get him. Since you are a book expert, do you have a book about how to get ready for a puppy or how to take care of a puppy? Because I want to know. I miss you and hope to see you soon. Sincerely, Josie. I found a great book about Mr. Raisin, who finds an unexpected friend in a very unusual dog named Floaty. Floaty by John Himmelman. Mr. Raisin lived alone in a little house. Inside that little house, he loved to sew. Mr. Raisin didn't like anything else, only sewing. One morning, he found a basket at his front door. It had a note attached that read, "All yours. Too much trouble. Good luck." Mr. Raisin brought the basket inside. Blah! It was empty. Whiff! Said something from above. Mr. Raisin looked up. A puppy was stuck to the ceiling. Get down from there, shouted Mr. Raisin. He nudged the dog with his broom. The dog slid across the ceiling and into the other room. Mr. Raisin climbed onto a chair and grabbed the dog. "Outside with you," he said. He opened the door. He was about to let the dog go, but he stopped. "You'll just float away, won't you?" Mr. Raisin brought the dog inside. "This doesn't mean you're staying," he said to the dog. "But I guess dogs need to eat, even annoying ceiling dogs." He put a bowl of cornflakes on the floor. "Whiff!" said the dog from the ceiling. "Oh, you can't come down." Mr. Raisin tossed the cornflakes one at a time into the air. "You probably need water too," he said. The dog floated to the front door. He barked. "Blah!" complained Mr. Raisin. "I have to take you for a walk, too." "Funny balloon," said Agnes Withers. "Not a balloon, a dog," barked Mr. Raisin.
"Your kite needs a longer tail,"
said Mr. Poots. "Not a kite, a dog," grunted Mr. Raisin. "There goes naughty Mr. Raisin," said Mrs. Stringle. "Blah!" said Mr. Raisin. He went back inside. Mr. Raisin wasn't used to having company, but the dog stayed out of his way most of the time. At night, he was a terrible blanket hog. But as time went by, Mr. Raisin thought less and less about getting rid of the dog. "I guess you will need a name," he said. "I will call you Floaty." Mr. Raisin chuckled at the silly name. He hardly ever chuckled. One morning when they were out for a walk, the leash snapped. Floaty floated away. As Floaty disappeared into the clouds, Mr. Raisin realized how much he loved his dog. Floaty floated for days and nights. Back at home, Mr. Raisin sent up balloons carrying food in case his dog floated by. The food never found Floaty, but he didn't go hungry. Mr. Raisin moved to his roof. He searched the skies day and night for his little dog. Floaty floated farther and farther away. Mr. Raisin climbed down from the roof. Floaty dreamed about home. Mr. Raisin sat in his chair and sewed. One night, a big storm came along. Lightning and thunder exploded all around the dog. Just then, a voice called from overhead, "Up here, Floaty!" Mr. Raisin lowered his freshly sewn hot air balloon and scooped up his dog. "Blah," he said. "You're not too much trouble. You're just the right amount of trouble." Here are the ingredients you'll need for Mr. Raisin's kitchen sink cookies. Now the saying, "everything but the kitchen sink," means just about everything you can imagine is thrown in. And you can see that this recipe has a lot of ingredients. You'll need flour, sugar, brown sugar, butter, oil, eggs, baking soda, salt, cream of tartar, and vanilla. You'll also need oatmeal. You should use the quick cooking kind of oatmeal for this one. You'll need raisins because they're Mr. Raisin's kitchen sink cookies. Now if you don't care for raisins or you don't have raisins, you could also use some other kind of dried fruit, like dried cherries or dried cranberries or dried apricots. You'll need coconut, and you'll also need some nuts. You could use sliced almonds, or you could use walnuts or pecans. You also need some crisp rice cereal. If you don't have Rice Krispie cereal, you could also use cornflakes. And you'll need some chocolate chips. White chocolate chips would also work, or butterscotch chips. Here are the tools you'll need to make Mr. Raisin's kitchen sink cookies. You'll need a bowl, a measuring cup, a measuring teaspoon, and a spoon or spatula. You'll also need a mixer. You'll need a scoop for scooping the cookie dough onto the cookie sheets, and cookie sheets lined with parchment paper. To make Mr. Raisin's kitchen sink cookies, we're going to start with 1 cup of butter, add 1 cup of oil, add 1 cup of sugar, add 1 cup of brown sugar, add 3 teaspoons of vanilla. Mix with the mixer. Add 2 eggs. And mix to combine. Add 3½ cups of flour. Add 1 cup of oatmeal. Add 1 teaspoon of cream of tartar. Add 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And add 1 teaspoon of salt. Mix to combine. Stop before the ingredients are completely combined. Next, add 1 cup of raisins, And I'm going to add a 1/2 cup of golden raisins since they're Mr. Raisin's kitchen sink cookies. 1 cup of coconut. You probably noticed my coconut is a little brown colored. My coconut was toasted first. You don't have to toast your coconut if you don't want to. It gives it a little extra flavor though. If you want to toast it, put your coconut in a 9x13 baking pan and spread it out on the bottom of the pan. Put it in the oven for 350 degrees for 7 or 8 minutes. You don't want it to get too brown. Take it out, let it cool, and then you can put it into the recipe. Add 1 cup of nuts. I use sliced almonds. And a bag of chocolate chips. Mix this to combine. Finally, add 1 cup of crisp rice cereal. You could stir that in with a spoon, or you can just go for it and use your mixer. Use your cookie scoop to make generous sized balls of dough and place them at least 2 inches apart on your cookie sheet. Place your cookies in an oven preheated to 350 degrees.
Oh, yum! Mrs. Corn cookies! Josie, go ahead and grab the basket. Look at how cute with the balloons. Are you gonna try one? I want to try one. They're my favorite. Oh, ready? Yeah. Oh my goodness.
These are good.
Delicious.
Like the book Floaty, then you might like one of these other books. You might like the puppy series Boomer, and you also might like Cupcake Diaries, Emma, Raining Cats and Dogs and Cupcakes.
You might like Dogs Colorful Day.
You might like the books See How They Grow, or See Them Grow Dog, and maybe even Puppies.